The news of humanity's withdrawal spread faster than any communication network could contain. Across the galaxy, in every spaceport, council chamber, and bustling city, species spoke in hushed tones. The humans had walked away, not from war, not from diplomacy, but from the very heart of interstellar politics. It was a choice no civilization had ever dared make, and the consequences were immediate. On the planet Trelix, in a massive chamber carved from glowing crystal, the leaders of the Varani Empire convened. The Varani were known for their discipline and strict control over trade routes, and they relied heavily on human cooperation to maintain balance.
Now humans were gone. This is
unacceptable, growled High Chancellor Krivok, his many eyes narrowing. Humans cannot just leave. Their influence holds the balance of the entire sector. Without them, chaos will spread. One of his advisors, a small, quick-moving creature with tentacle-like arms, clicked nervously. We could send envoys. Maybe negotiate their return. Surely they will not abandon us completely. Krivok's jaw flexed, revealing sharp teeth. Negotiate? With humans? Do you forget what they are capable of? They do not follow the expected rules. Their ways are unpredictable. That is why they are dangerous. Meanwhile, on the distant trading hub of Orion Prime, merchant guilds scrambled to adjust supply lines. For decades, humans had been essential partners, providing innovations in energy transport, interstellar engines, and communication systems. Without humans, shipments were delayed, systems malfunctioned, and panic began creeping into the marketplace. They just disappeared, one merchant muttered, pacing the polished floor of his office. No warnings, no explanations. What if they are planning something? What if they intend to dominate us from the shadows? Other civilizations reacted in equally extreme ways. Military fleets were repositioned unnecessarily. Strategic planets that had never been contested suddenly became heavily guarded. Even neutral planets began reinforcing defenses. Humanity's absence created not peace, but an uneasy tension that grew stronger with every passing day. Back on Earth, life was quiet. Humans continued their work without interruption. Scientists conducted experiments on distant stars. Explorers charted new systems, and engineers tested new engines capable of reaching far beyond the known galaxy. To humans, the galaxy's panic was both fascinating and irrelevant. Eli, the young scientist who had first observed the binary star system, monitored data from one of humanity's deep space probes. "We've discovered another planet capable of sustaining life," he said to his colleague, Dr. Lena Mori. "It's untouched. No one has been here before. No politics, just exploration." Lena smiled, adjusting the probe's sensors. "Exactly. That's why humanity stepped back. We focus on discovery, not argument. We create rather than fight." But while humans explored, the galaxy plotted. A coalition of 3 powerful civilizations, the Varani, the Orialians, and the crystalline Centauri, decided they needed to act. A joint fleet was assembled not to destroy humanity, but to assess and, if necessary, control them. Their ships, massive and imposing, glided silently through space toward Earth. Each vessel was equipped with advanced sensors, weapons, and communication arrays designed to study and, if needed, intimidate. The fleet's leaders, however, were nervous. They had faced many threats before, but none like humans. Captain Yelrin of the Centauri fleet observed Earth through a telescope from the command deck. The planet shone blue and green, calm and unthreatening. Yet the humans had a reputation that preceded them. They were clever, adaptable, and capable of astonishing feats. One wrong move could turn this reconnaissance mission into a disaster. "They are peaceful," Yelrin admitted to his officers. "Yet we cannot underestimate them. They may not wield armies, but they wield innovation. They make the impossible seem easy." The fleet approached cautiously, maintaining distance to observe without provoking. On Earth, humans noticed nothing unusual. Their sensors picked up faint anomalies in the upper atmosphere, signals too weak and erratic to analyze completely. For the humans, it was a minor curiosity, a puzzle to solve later. For the aliens, it was a warning. Humans were aware, capable, and vigilant. Meanwhile, within the council chambers across the galaxy, debates grew heated. Some civilizations argued for patience, reasoning that humans would eventually return once the galaxy had resolved its crises. Others demanded immediate action, proposing diplomatic ultimatums or even preemptive strikes. The tension escalated to the point that even the calmest species began to feel the strain. On a remote station orbiting a dying star, An elder of the ancient Zephyr civilization spoke to a group of younger leaders. Humans are unlike any other species we have encountered. They do not seek control through fear or dominance. Their strength lies in their unpredictability and their intelligence. We cannot treat them as we treat others. A young Zephyr leader, impatient and eager to prove herself, replied, "Then what do we do? Wait and hope they return? They might be advancing far beyond our reach. We could be left behind." The elder sighed, her luminous body dimming slightly. "Exactly. That is why the galaxy panics. Humanity is not aggressive, yet their independence threatens the structures we rely on. We fear what we cannot predict, and humans have made themselves unpredictable." Back on Earth, humans were oblivious to the galaxy's panic. They celebrated discoveries, shared knowledge freely, and encouraged young explorers to pursue dreams of reaching the stars. Cities became centers of learning, laboratories and innovation hubs. People were more focused than ever on what humanity could become, rather than what the galaxy feared. In one of Earth's orbital laboratories, Eli and Lena observed a strange signal coming from beyond the edge of the solar system. "It's unusual," Eli said, examining the data. "It doesn't match any known communication pattern. Could it be aliens watching us?" Lena nodded thoughtfully. "Possibly. Or maybe it's just a natural phenomenon. Either way, we study it. Humans explore, we do not assume threat. That's the difference." As the alien fleet drew nearer to Earth, they faced a surprise. Humans had anticipated the possibility of observation and had quietly prepared defensive measures. Automated systems monitored every approach not as weapons for war but as protection. Sensors could track multiple ships, drones could deploy in minutes, and AI could analyze patterns faster than any alien fleet expected. The alien captains watched, bewildered. Their efforts to intimidate or surprise humans were met with calm precision. There were no aggressive maneuvers, no alarms, only calculated responses. Humans were not reacting out of fear. They were responding with intelligence. The galaxy's panic grew. Delegates argued that humans must be controlled, that their unpredictability was too dangerous. Fleet commanders debated tactics endlessly, unable to reach a consensus. Every day without action deepened anxiety and fear. Yet on Earth, humans thrived. Exploration missions discovered habitable moons, rare minerals, and even traces of ancient alien civilizations previously unknown. Scientists developed faster propulsion methods, more efficient energy sources, and advanced AI capable of assisting in both research and daily life. Humans demonstrated that independence did not mean isolation. It meant innovation, creativity, and growth. The galaxy, however, continued to spiral in worry. Civilizations that had once relied on human diplomacy and technology found themselves scrambling. Trade networks faltered, alliances weakened, and even some species began stockpiling resources unnecessarily, all because humans chose to walk a different path. High Chancellor Krivok of the Varani Empire sighed as he observed the chaos. "They are doing nothing, and yet everything changes. Humans have left, and the galaxy reacts as if they had detonated a supernova. That is the power of their choice. That is why we fear them." And so, while humans quietly pursued knowledge and discovery, the universe panicked. Ships moved unnecessarily, alliances strained, and fear guided decisions instead of logic. Humanity, unknowingly, had become the calm center of a galaxy in turmoil, not by force, not by conquest, but by simply choosing their own path. In classrooms on Earth, children learned about stars, planets, and life beyond their solar system. They were taught that exploration was more important than power, that knowledge mattered more than control, and that curiosity could change the world. Eli looked up at the night sky, a small telescope in his hands. "The galaxy is panicking," he said quietly to himself. "And we are just watching, just learning." Lena smiled beside him. "Exactly. And someday maybe the galaxy will understand what humans have always known. That strength is not about control. Strength is about wisdom, courage, and the ability to choose your own path." Above them, in the endless dark of space, alien fleets continued to approach cautiously, unsure of what they would find. They were nervous, respectful, and fearful all at once. Humanity's withdrawal had not made them powerless, it had made them unpredictable. And unpredictability, the galaxy realized, could be more dangerous than any weapon. The stars shimmered silently, bearing witness to a new chapter. Humans had chosen their path. The universe, for all its panic, was about to learn that sometimes the greatest power comes not from politics or war, but from independence, innovation, and the courage to walk away. The alien fleet moved cautiously through the void, their massive engines glowing faintly against the backdrop of distant stars. For weeks they had monitored Earth, studied its defenses, and speculated on human capabilities. But as they drew closer, uncertainty gnawed at their commanders. Humans were unpredictable, not in anger or aggression, but in intelligence and resourcefulness. And intelligence, the galaxy had learned, could be more dangerous than the largest fleet. Captain Yelrin of the Centauri fleet adjusted the viewing screens. Earth grew larger with every moment, a swirling blue and green jewel suspended in space. Satellites and observation drones circled silently above, monitoring the alien approach. "They are aware of us," Yelrin murmured, tension in his voice. Not with fear, but with calculation. "They know we are coming." Across the bridge, officers exchanged nervous glances. Even the most experienced navigators admitted they had never faced a species like humanity, one that combined patience, ingenuity, and courage. Meanwhile, on Earth, humans continued their peaceful routines. In a control room orbiting the planet, Ambassador Marin Albright observed the fleet's approach through long-range sensors. She did not panic. She never did. Instead, she calmly issued instructions to prepare Earth's defense systems, not as weapons for war, but as protective measures. Dr. Eli Chen and Dr. Lena Mori monitored data from satellites and drones. "They're moving in formations," Eli said. "It's methodical, but slow." "They're testing us," Lena nodded. "Then let's give them something to analyze." She tapped on the console, sending signals that mimicked human defensive maneuvers, confusing the fleet's automated analysis systems. On the alien ships, the effect was immediate. Sensors flagged anomalies, algorithms recalculated, and officers whispered urgently. They expected humans to panic, to hide, or to flee. Instead, the humans responded with calm, precise logic. Every system was active, every move considered, and no aggressive action was taken. High Chancellor Krivak of the Varani fleet was frustrated. Why are they not responding as expected? Where is the fear? The chaos? The surrender? They do not operate by our rules, Yelrin admitted. Their minds are different. They anticipate without reaction. They plan without aggression. This is unlike any species we have encountered. On Earth, human pilots launched small exploratory craft to meet the edges of the approaching fleet. These ships were equipped with advanced sensors, communication arrays, and AI assistance. They moved not to attack, but to observe and understand. Captain Aaron, commanding one of the human ships, adjusted the course. Keep them at a distance. Let them think they are in control. Monitor everything. We are not here to fight unless absolutely necessary. The alien commanders noticed the approach. They are not fleeing, one whispered. They are meeting us. The first encounter occurred quietly in the emptiness of space. A human ship drifted into the path of the Varani scouts, signaling with non-threatening patterns of light. The aliens hesitated. No hostility, no weapons fired, just a simple gesture, observation and communication. This is absurd, a Varani officer complained. They are not acting like a threat. They are cooperating. They are humans, Krivak reminded him sharply. Cooperation is calculated. Intelligence is a weapon. Do not underestimate them. As the fleet approached closer, humans used the opportunity to demonstrate capabilities the aliens had not anticipated. Automated drones deployed around the alien ships, creating an intricate network of observation and analysis. AI systems calculated trajectories, potential outcomes, and possible strategies, not to attack but to predict every possible move of the approaching fleets. On one alien ship, officers tried to coordinate. We could attack, one suggested. We could overwhelm them before they have a chance to react. Stop, Krivak snapped. Every step they take is deliberate. They will not react blindly. Their defense is adaptive. Any aggressive action could be catastrophic. And he was right. The human systems anticipated the smallest movement, calculated the effects, and responded instantly with measures that neutralized threats without violence. Laser arrays were activated only to redirect debris. Shield protocols absorbed energy without escalation, and drones relayed data in real time. In the council chambers across the galaxy, delegates watched live feeds from the approaching fleets. Panic intensified. They are handling our fleets with ease, whispered one. They have no weapons, yet they control everything. How is this possible? On Earth, human leadership remained calm. Marin observed the unfolding situation, noting the fleet's hesitation. They are testing us, she said softly. They want to know if we will fight, if we will panic. But humans are not afraid. We act with logic, not emotion. The alien fleets, frustrated and confused, began to retreat slightly to reconsider. Their calculations had failed. They had underestimated human ingenuity and adaptability. They realized that humans were not aggressive conquerors, but a species capable of extraordinary creativity and precise action. Eli and Lena observed the retreat from the monitoring station. They're nervous, Eli said. They expected resistance, chaos, something to exploit, but we didn't give them anything to exploit. Lena nodded, her eyes bright. Exactly. Humans do not need to fight to show strength. Our strength is in intelligence, in creativity, and our ability to adapt. The fleets regrouped at a safe distance, initiating communication. The alien commanders were cautious, unsure of what to expect. Humanity responded politely, clearly, and with purpose. They offered observation, collaboration, and dialogue, but no submission, no surrender. The aliens began to understand that humanity's power did not lie in weapons or armies, but in foresight and ingenuity. Every decision humans made was deliberate, designed to protect without harming, to observe without interference. Captain Yelrin shook his head in disbelief. They are masters of calm. They have taken the most dangerous approach possible. They are powerful, and yet they choose peace. We cannot predict them, and that is terrifying. Back on Earth, the public remained unaware of the precise details. Humans simply saw alien fleets at the edge of their solar system and continued with their work. The government ensured transparency without panic. The media focused on scientific achievements, not conflict. Children learned about the galaxy and its mysteries, but never feared it. Humanity's action sent a message to the galaxy without a single aggressive act. Strength was not about weapons, fleets, or alliances. It was about intelligence, preparation, and the courage to remain calm under pressure. After days of observation and cautious retreat, the alien fleets withdrew further into space. They were still vigilant, still uncertain, but they had learned an important lesson. Humans did not need to engage in politics, wars, or domination to be powerful. Their independence, ingenuity, and composure made them formidable in ways the galaxy had never imagined. In council chambers, discussions shifted. Perhaps we have underestimated them, Krivak admitted reluctantly. Perhaps humanity is not a threat to be conquered, but a force to respect. The galaxy was still panicked, but a new respect began to emerge alongside the fear. Delegates debated not just how to control humanity, but how to understand them, to learn from them, and to coexist without provocation. On Earth, humans continued as they always had. Explorers charted new worlds. Scientists discovered new principles of energy and life, and children dreamed of stars. They were aware of the galaxy watching them, but they did not change their path. Eli looked up from his telescope, observing a distant alien fleet retreating slowly. They expected chaos, he said. They expected fear, but we just stayed calm and did what we needed to do. Lena smiled. And that is why humans are unique. We do not need to fight to show strength. We need only to act wisely and boldly. Above Earth, satellites and drones continued to monitor the edge of the solar system. Humans had demonstrated their power without aggression, their intelligence without threat. And in doing so, they had set a new standard for what a species could be. Capable, independent, and entirely unpredictable. The galaxy, though still uneasy, began to realize a truth it had never fully understood. Humanity's strength did not lie in armies or politics, but in courage, ingenuity, and the ability to act decisively without malice. And that was a kind of power that no civilization could ignore. As the stars shimmered silently above, humanity prepared for the next step: exploration, innovation, and the endless pursuit of knowledge. The galaxy had tested them, and humans had proven themselves, not as conquerors, but as a species that could rise above fear and uncertainty simply by being human. After the alien fleets withdrew, the galaxy's leaders realized that humanity was unlike any other species. They had faced humans' intelligence, ingenuity, and calm response, and they were unsure how to proceed. War was impossible without immense risk, and negotiation seemed foreign because humans had voluntarily stepped away from politics. High Chancellor Krivok of the Varani Empire convened a secret summit on the neutral planet Zephyria. Representatives from dozens of civilizations gathered, their expressions tense, their voices low and hurried. Holographic star maps filled the room, showing Earth's position and the movements of human exploratory ships. "We cannot ignore them any longer," Krivok said, his eyes narrowing. "They are not here to conquer, yet their influence spreads. They advance, they explore, they innovate, and we do nothing but panic." The crystalline Centauri representative, a shifting form of sharp angles and light, spoke in a calm, measured tone. "Perhaps we misjudged. Humans do not seek power. They act with reason. Their withdrawal from politics is deliberate, yet it demonstrates confidence." An Orialian diplomat with tentacle-like appendages and 3 eyes frowned. "Confidence is not enough. If humans continue unchecked, they will surpass us in technology, exploration, and influence. What then? Will they decide they no longer need to communicate with any of us at all?" Krivok leaned forward. "That is why we must meet them. Diplomacy is not for control but for understanding. We need to know their intentions, their limits, and perhaps, if we are wise, the lessons they can teach us." The decision was made. A delegation would travel to Earth, not with weapons ready but with the intent of dialogue. Every member of the coalition knew the risks. Humans could easily outmaneuver them technologically, yet the potential for knowledge, cooperation, and peace outweighed fear. On Earth, humanity detected the approaching delegation weeks before they arrived. Ambassador Marin Albright prepared for their arrival with calm efficiency. Unlike the alien fleets, humans did not prepare for war. Their preparations were for understanding, communication, translation, cultural exchange, and shared exploration. In the council chamber orbiting Earth, Marin addressed the team of diplomats and scientists overseeing the arrival. "They come not as conquerors but as seekers of understanding," she said. "Our response should be the same. We will meet them openly, honestly, and respectfully. There is no need for force. Our strength lies in knowledge, preparation, and cooperation." When the alien ships entered Earth's orbit, humans greeted them with precision and courtesy. Signals of peace and welcome were transmitted, holographic messages projected, and human exploratory ships met the edges of the fleet, observing without intrusion. Captain Aaron of the human fleet guided the meeting carefully. "Maintain distance," she instructed. "Observe, communicate, and show them our openness. Let them see that we act with calm and intelligence, not aggression." The alien commanders were cautious yet impressed. Every movement by the humans was deliberate and clear. No unnecessary maneuvers, no hidden threats. Humans were demonstrating exactly what they had promised. A species capable of power and intelligence, choosing peace and cooperation over conflict. Finally, a small shuttle carrying the alien leaders landed on Earth. The delegation included Krivok, the Centauri representative, and the Orialian diplomat. Earth's leaders welcomed them in a neutral chamber built specifically for interstellar diplomacy, designed to be comfortable for all species. Marin greeted them. "Welcome to Earth. We are glad you chose dialogue over confrontation. Please make yourselves comfortable." Krivok's many eyes scanned the chamber. "We came to understand," he said. "We came to see if your intentions are true. We have seen your responses to our fleets. You did not attack, yet you controlled the situation. We are curious," Marin nodded. "Our intentions are simple. Humans wish to explore, learn, and grow. We do not seek dominance or political control. We wish to exist peacefully and, if possible, to share knowledge and cooperation with others." The Centauri representative tilted its crystalline form thoughtfully. "Peace and growth without influence. That is unusual. Most species cannot separate power from ambition." Lena Mori, observing quietly, spoke gently. "Humans believe that cooperation is stronger than control. Influence is not taken by force. It is earned through example and ingenuity. We hope other civilizations will see this value." Krivok remained skeptical. "It is admirable. But can it work on a galactic scale? Can a species grow without affecting others politically, without drawing fear or envy?" Marin's eyes were calm. "We believe it can. We hope that others will learn from our example, and that collaboration can replace competition. But we will not impose this view. We simply walk our own path." The alien leaders spent days on Earth observing human life. They saw bustling cities full of learning, laboratories advancing knowledge, and communities focused on creativity and exploration. They watched as humans worked together without hierarchy or coercion, solving problems with intelligence rather than force. Eli and Lena showed them a new propulsion system, capable of reaching distant star systems far faster than conventional methods. "We developed this to explore, not to fight," Eli explained. "We want to see what is out there, not to dominate it." The aliens were amazed. The simplicity and clarity of human motivation contrasted sharply with the complex politics and ambitions of their own civilizations. Humans were strong, yet they did not flaunt strength. Humans were capable, yet they did not seek power over others. The Orialian diplomat, observing a classroom where children were learning about the stars, spoke softly. "They are teaching the next generation, not about conquest, but about understanding." "That is rare," Marin smiled. "We believe the future of any civilization depends on curiosity and cooperation. Knowledge grows when shared, not hoarded. Fear fades when understanding increases." After weeks of observation and discussion, the alien delegation returned to their fleets. They left with a mixture of respect, curiosity, and a lingering sense of uncertainty. They had come expecting challenge or chaos. Instead, they found wisdom, calm, and human ingenuity in action. In the council chambers of the galaxy, news of the delegation's visit spread quickly. Diplomats shared reports of humans' intelligence, peaceful intentions, and creative problem-solving. Panic did not disappear entirely, but a new feeling emerged: respect. High Chancellor Krivak addressed the assembly. "Humans have shown us a different path. They do not seek power, yet they are strong. They act with intelligence and calm, even when confronted with fleets and fleets of our forces. Perhaps we have misunderstood strength all along." Across the galaxy, civilizations began to rethink their assumptions. Some cautiously sent exploratory missions, inspired by humanity's methods. Others sought dialogue, hoping to learn from Earth without political pressure. The galaxy, though still cautious, began to stabilize. Back on Earth, life continued in its peaceful, productive rhythm. Humans explored new star systems, conducted research, and shared discoveries freely. They had faced the first challenge of the galaxy: alien fleets, political expectations, and fear, and had done so without aggression. Their example began to resonate quietly across the stars. Eli watched as a new fleet of human exploration ships prepared to depart. "The galaxy still fears us," he said, "but we've shown them a different way. Intelligence and cooperation. That can be stronger than fleets and politics." Lena nodded. "And this is only the beginning. Humanity will continue to explore, to learn, and to grow. We do not need control to be powerful. We simply need curiosity, courage, and the willingness to act wisely." Marin Albright stood on the observation deck looking out at the stars. "They have seen who we are," she said softly. "Now they will have to decide whether to fear us, admire us, or perhaps learn from us." And as the stars stretched endlessly before her, humanity continued its quiet journey, independent yet influential, peaceful yet formidable. The galaxy had been tested, and humans had shown that true power could exist without coercion, without domination, and without fear. For the first time, many civilizations began to consider a new possibility. Perhaps strength could come from wisdom, cooperation, and the courage to walk a path that others feared to tread. Humanity had not returned to politics, but in walking their own way, they had begun to shape the galaxy in ways no one had expected. And for humans, this was only the beginning of a new era, an era of exploration, knowledge, and the quiet, enduring power of being human. The galaxy was changing slowly but surely. Humanity's decision to walk away from politics had caused fear, panic, and confusion, but it had also sparked something new: hope. Civilizations began to realize that power did not always come from dominance or alliances. Sometimes strength came from intelligence, cooperation, and courage. On Earth, Ambassador Marin Albright stood on the observation deck of the Interstellar Research Center. From her vantage point, she could see satellites gliding silently over the planet, drones scanning distant stars, and spacecraft preparing for long journeys. Humans had focused on exploration, science, and culture, and now, the galaxy was beginning to notice. Captain Aren walked beside her, reviewing reports from recent exploratory missions. "They are finally starting to understand us," she said. "Not completely, but enough to know we mean no harm. They are learning that our strength is in knowledge and cooperation. Marin nodded. It will take time. Fear dies slowly, but humanity has always been patient, and we have always believed in learning from experience rather than forcing it. In the council chambers of the galaxy, delegates from multiple civilizations gathered. The tone was different now. Panic had faded, replaced with cautious curiosity. Many leaders had traveled to Earth to observe humans in action, while others watched from afar, hoping to learn the principles behind humanity's independence. High Chancellor Krivok addressed the assembly. We feared humans at first, he admitted. Their unpredictability, their intelligence, and their independence frightened us. But now we see, their strength is admirable. They do not seek to dominate or control. They simply act wisely, creatively, and peacefully. Perhaps we have misunderstood what power can be. Other delegates nodded in agreement. Some were still cautious, but even they could not deny that humans had set an example unlike any other in the galaxy. Back on Earth, humans continued their work without concern for political influence. Young explorers trained in the use of advanced spacecraft. Scientists experimented with energy and propulsion systems, and engineers designed habitats for distant planets. Communities worked together, sharing knowledge freely and encouraging creativity. Dr. Eli Chen and Dr. Lena Mori prepared for a new mission. Their goal was to reach a distant star system previously unexplored. This is why we stepped away from politics, Eli said. We are free to learn, to explore, and to grow without interference or distraction. The galaxy can panic if it wishes, but we will continue our work. Lena smiled. And the galaxy is already beginning to learn from us. They see that independence does not mean isolation. Cooperation and curiosity can exist together. A small fleet of alien observers arrived at Earth, not as conquerors, but as students. They traveled alongside human ships on exploration missions, learning techniques, observing strategies, and sharing insights. Humanity welcomed them openly, demonstrating the principles that had guided their independence. Captain Aaron guided one of the joint missions through a dense asteroid belt. Alien observers marveled at the human methods of navigation, energy management, and real-time problem-solving. Every action was precise, intelligent, and careful, yet daring enough to achieve what seemed impossible. This is remarkable, said one of the Orialian observers. They face danger without fear. They act not for glory but for understanding. Their courage? It is unlike anything we have seen. High above the Earth, Ambassador Marin continued to meet with alien leaders. Discussions were held not about control or territory, but about exploration, culture, and shared knowledge. Plans for joint research missions were formed, as well as agreements to exchange technology for peaceful purposes. In the classrooms of Earth, children studied stars, planets, and distant civilizations. They were encouraged to think independently, to imagine boldly, and to pursue knowledge without fear. The galaxy may watch us, a teacher told her students, but our focus is not on fear or conflict. It is on discovery, learning, and understanding. That is the human way. The galaxy, once panicked, began to stabilize. Trade routes resumed with efficiency, not coercion. Alliances adjusted to respect human independence rather than challenge it. And, slowly, a new model emerged. One where species could interact, share knowledge, and coexist without fear of dominance. On the planet Zephyria, a council of alien leaders discussed the future. Humans have taught us something important, said a crystalline Centauri delegate. We need not dominate to be strong. We can cooperate, learn, and grow alongside others. Krivok nodded. Yes, and the galaxy is better for it. We feared their independence at first. But now we see that humanity's path does not weaken us, it inspires us. We can choose to follow in their example, or at least adapt what we have learned. Meanwhile, human explorers reached distant star systems, discovering new planets, resources, and even evidence of ancient civilizations. Each discovery was celebrated not as conquest, but as a step forward in knowledge and understanding. Humans recorded everything carefully, sharing findings freely with other civilizations willing to collaborate. Eli and Lena stood on the bridge of their ship, looking at a newly discovered planet. This is why humanity stepped away from politics, Eli said. We are free to explore the universe, not to fight it. Every discovery teaches us something new, and every lesson can be shared without fear. Lena smiled. And the galaxy watches, learning quietly. Our independence is not a threat. It is an example. Back on Earth, communities continued to thrive. Cultural exchanges flourished, art and science were valued equally, and technology advanced faster than any civilization had predicted. Humans had created a model of growth and influence that did not depend on politics or power. Alien observers traveling with human missions began to bring what they learned back to their own civilizations. Trade improved, research expanded, and fear slowly gave way to respect. Humanity had not imposed control, yet they had changed the galaxy's approach to cooperation and progress. Ambassador Marin addressed the Council one last time during the first official meeting of the new interstellar collaboration. "We have walked our own path," she said. "We have not sought power, dominance, or political control. We have chosen to explore, to learn, and to share knowledge freely. Our hope is that this example inspires others, not through force but through understanding." The delegates nodded. Some were still cautious, but most were inspired. A new era had begun, one where civilizations could advance without fear, where knowledge was shared freely, and where curiosity and intelligence guided actions rather than politics or power struggles. Eli, watching a distant star through the viewport, spoke quietly. "The galaxy panicked when we walked away, but now they see that strength is not in politics, fleets, or war. Strength is in wisdom, courage, and the ability to choose your own path." Lena joined him, her eyes reflecting the light of distant suns. "We have shown them a new way, a way of cooperation, curiosity, and independence. And it works. Humanity has proven that power can exist without force, influence without dominance, and respect without fear." In the skies above Earth, satellites and exploration ships continued their journeys. Alien observers traveled alongside humans, learning, recording, and adapting. The galaxy had begun to stabilize, not because humans had enforced peace, but because they had set an example that others could follow. Children on Earth looked up at the stars with wonder, dreaming of the day they might explore distant planets and civilizations. Scientists and explorers prepared new missions to the unknown, pushing the boundaries of knowledge further than ever before. And humanity continued its journey, independent yet influential, peaceful yet formidable, curious yet wise. The galaxy had been tested, and humans had proven that true power could exist without coercion, domination, or fear. For the first time, civilizations across the stars began to understand. The greatest strength of humanity lay not in its fleets, not in its politics, and not in its technology, but in its courage, intelligence, and the unwavering determination to walk its own path. Humanity had walked away from politics. The galaxy had panicked, and in the aftermath, a new era had begun, an era of exploration, cooperation, and the quiet but enduring power of being human. The stars shone brightly above, a reminder that the universe was vast, full of mystery, and waiting for those brave enough to explore it. Humanity had chosen to walk boldly, to learn endlessly, and to inspire quietly, and that above all was a power the galaxy could not ignore. The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with tension. Representatives from hundreds of alien civilizations floated, hovered, and shimmered in the Great Hall, each communicating in its own complex way. Some emitted lights in rapid patterns, others made harmonic vibrations, and a few even projected thought images into the minds of nearby delegates. All eyes, however, were fixed on a single figure at the center, a human, Talia Morgan, Earth's ambassador to the galaxy, stood calmly on a simple platform. Her uniform plain compared to the alien displays of power around her. Humans were not flashy. They never had been. But they had a strange reputation in the galaxy. Where others argued, schemed, or threatened, humans acted unpredictably. And now, for the first time in centuries, humans had done something no one expected. They had withdrawn from politics entirely. Talia cleared her throat. "Esteemed representatives of the Galactic Council," she began, her voice steady, "Earth has decided to step back from active participation in galactic politics." A murmur rippled through the chamber. One alien delegate's scales turned bright red, a color of alarm. Another's neural pulses accelerated. The Council had never seen humans behave this way. Withdrawal was unheard of. In the history of interstellar diplomacy, humans had always been involved, sometimes reluctantly, sometimes forcefully, but always present. "Step back," one voice hissed through a translator. It was the emissary of the Krathari, a jagged, metallic species known for its love of control. "You cannot leave. Your influence stabilizes many conflicts. Your absence will destroy balances you do not even understand. Talia nodded, understanding the concern. We are aware, she said. That is precisely why we step back. Our goal is not power. Our goal is to live and grow, to explore and to learn. We will focus on our own civilization, on our science, our people, and our culture. We will not interfere in your politics. Silence fell. Then chaos erupted. Delegates began shouting over one another, their alien languages overlapping in a storm of sound and thought. Some accused humans of cowardice. Others claimed humans were making a grave mistake that could endanger the galaxy. Talia stood firm. She had expected this. A calm, melodic voice rang out. We must understand them, said the emissary of the Lithari, a species of crystalline beings. Perhaps they have seen something we do not. Yes, Talia said, stepping forward. Humanity has chosen to dedicate its resources to creation, not conflict. We build, we explore, and we innovate. That is our focus now. Not politics, not wars, not manipulation. For centuries, humans had been unpredictable. They could inspire peace in one moment and chaos in another. Their sudden withdrawal was creating panic. Across the galaxy, whispers began spreading. News channels, faster than light transmissions, and psychic networks all carried the message, humans are leaving politics. In a small observation station on the edge of the Orion expanse, a group of alien strategists gathered around a holographic display showing Earth. This cannot happen, one said, her tentacles clenching. They are the only species capable of breaking the deadlocks in the Council. Without them, the Crithari and the Lithari will clash, and systems will fall into chaos. Meanwhile, on Earth, humans were celebrating a very different scene. Cities were quiet but alive. People were working in laboratories, schools, and workshops. Children played in parks while engineers tested new starship engines. Scientists debated ideas of quantum travel and terraforming distant planets. Humanity was turning its attention inward, to creation, rather than negotiation or war. Talia returned to Earth's space station later that day, greeted by Dr. Amir Patel, head of the Human Exploration Initiative. How did it go? He asked. Predictably, Talia replied, a faint smile on her face. The galaxy panicked. They are imagining all sorts of disaster scenarios. Amir laughed. They always overthink humans. Maybe it's our talent, but it will take time for them to understand, Talia said. They will watch us and wonder what we are doing. Some will come to respect it. Others will try to exploit it. Back in the Galactic Council, debates raged. Aliens argued over how to respond to humanity's withdrawal. Some factions saw an opportunity to expand their influence, while others feared the power vacuum might unleash wars across star systems. Humanity's absence was creating ripples that no one could ignore. Meanwhile, humans were already at work on a new mission, an uncrewed probe to the Tau Ceti system. Engineers gathered around the launch console as the spacecraft slowly lifted off. This is what matters, said one engineer. Exploration, knowledge, progress. On a small green hill on Earth, Talia looked up at the stars. The same stars that humans had crossed and studied for decades now seemed to shine with a new clarity. She thought of her ancestors who had fought for survival, who had learned to cooperate, innovate, and adapt. Humanity had been shaped by struggle, by curiosity, and by resilience. Their withdrawal from politics was not cowardice, it was a choice rooted in wisdom. Across the galaxy, alien observers noted the same thing. Humans were not idle. They were building, discovering, and reaching for the stars, and yet their absence in politics made some leaders anxious. They did not understand that influence did not require interference. Weeks passed, and tensions in the Council grew. Reports of minor skirmishes at border systems started appearing. Systems that had relied on human diplomacy were facing uncertainty. Some aliens attempted to negotiate treaties without humans, but old grudges, rivalries, and ambitions complicated every effort. In one remote sector, two alien factions almost engaged in a full-scale battle over a disputed mining colony. Talia received a transmission from the colony's inhabitants. We need guidance. She hesitated. Human policy was clear, no interference in politics. But humanity had always valued life and fairness. She decided to send advice, not orders. Her message was simple: negotiate, listen, consider the consequences. Violence benefits no one. The factions paused, confused by the human tone. No command, no threat, no demands, only reason. Slowly, the tension eased and the colony was spared conflict. Across the galaxy, stories like this began spreading. Humans, it seemed, could act without being political. Their presence or absence was still powerful. Aliens began calling it the human paradox, a species that could influence events without seeking power. As Talia watched the stars, she knew the galaxy would face new challenges. Rogue fleets, opportunistic factions, and unknown threats would test civilizations, but humanity had made a choice. They would focus on creation, on exploration, and on protecting life, not on power. And in that choice lay a strength that no alien politics could measure. Somewhere in the council, an elder alien sighed. "Perhaps we misunderstood them all along," she said. "They do not play politics. They shape the galaxy in ways we cannot control." And so the universe began to feel the absence of humans in politics. Panic rippled through councils, debates, and war rooms. But on Earth, humans continued their quiet revolution of knowledge, discovery, and growth. They were no longer the political players the galaxy feared or relied on. They were explorers, builders, and thinkers. The stars themselves seemed to recognize this shift. Humanity was stepping into a new role, not rulers, not manipulators, not warriors, but pioneers. And in the silence of their withdrawal, the universe held its breath, wondering what humans would do next.